Welcome back to the final episode of the Conflict in a Nutshell series. I'm your host, Gabriel Coder, and the topic today is on answering the question of what is mediation and ADR? Without further ado, let's get right into it. Mediation is an alternative dispute resolution process that involves a mediator acting as a neutral, unbiased, third-party facilitator of a conversation between two parties in conflict. The point of mediation and ADR in general is to provide another option to resolving a dispute than taking it to the courts. The courts can be slow, costly, and sometimes ineffective when it comes to delicate matters. A mediation can sometimes prove far more effective. Now, it's the job of the mediator to keep the parties focused on topic and working towards making a solution to their conflict for themselves. The mediator themselves cannot provide suggestions or choose what is best for the parties. Instead, that is left completely up to the parties themselves. It's the mediator's job to get the parties there, bring them to their own solution. This means the mediator uses techniques like active listening, paraphrasing, reframing, reality checking, summarizing, and more to work the parties through their conflict. The mediator will start by establishing ground rules and addressing comfort concerns for the parties. Once the ground rules and comfort concerns have been properly addressed, the mediation formally begins. The mediator starts by asking the parties many questions and slowly gains understanding of the conflict at hand, working through the issues person by person. It's the mediator's job to keep the parties calm, civil, and address emotional and physical concerns as they come up. This means that when one party gets emotional and needs some time to settle down, a mediator might bring the party into a caucus. Now, what is a caucus, you might ask? Well, a caucus is a private meeting between one of the parties and the mediator during a mediation. It's a confidential meeting. Anything said during it will not be expressed to the other party unless specifically asked to be. The goal of a caucus is to have the mediator hear the private concerns of the party who calls the caucus. It's the role of the mediator to explain what a caucus is before the mediation begins, in addition to addressing the confidentiality of the whole process. There are two types of mediation, open and closed. The only difference is that in an open mediation, the mediator can go to court and write reports on the mediation, and even have the records of the mediation called into the courts at a later date. Whereas in a closed mediation, the mediator can only report on any agreements achieved in the mediation process, and this is done in the form of an MOU, or Memorandum of Understanding. I'm not going to cover that today because it's not particularly relevant, but in short, the point of mediation is to avoid going to court over a matter and to resolve a dispute in a civil manner using a third-party facilitator. If you are a student or considering becoming a student at Durham College and you found any of what I spoke about in this lesson or the previous 4 lessons to be interesting, then you should consider looking into the Mediation ADR program at Durham College. I'm just about to graduate from it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the experiences and learning I gained from it, most especially my CCRS course, of which this is actually being produced for. Well, with that all being said, thank you so very much for watching my final video in my Conflict in a Nutshell series. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you wish to contact me for any reason, whether to ask questions or for personal, professional inquiries, doesn't matter, my email is gabriel.coder, that's Koeder, @dcmail.ca. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day or night whenever you may be tuning in.